Good afternoon, Tim, and ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for the opportunity to come and give an update on our progress. We're just on the cusp of being able to drill two of our projects in Western Australia. So we're expecting an exciting period in the next 6 months. Next slide, please. So Platina's developing 3 gold projects in Western Australia. We own 100% of each of those projects. And as I mentioned, we're on the cusp of being able to drill 2 of those, hopefully in the next few months. We're 23 million market cap. And we also have a scandium project in New South Wales. We believe it's one of the world's highest grade scandium projects. We've got an investment of over $16 million in that project. And we're looking at a number of opportunities on how we can unlock that value for shareholders. Next slide, please. Platina also has a portfolio of investments that investment portfolios worth just under $8 million at the moment. Our plan is to liquidate that investment portfolio over time and use those funds to fund our exploration activities in Western Australia and maintain our tight capital structure. Each of these investments is really interesting in their own right. A number of these companies are currently drilling, and we're obviously hopeful of them delivering good results. Major Precious Metals, which is our largest investment in this portfolio, completed an 8,500 meter drilling program on the Scania Project in Greenland late last year, and we believe that they're getting very close to announcing those results. And off the back of those results, we'll probably see a fairly significant increase in what is already one of the world's largest palladium and gold projects. Next slide, please. So value in Platina will come from exploration upside in our 100% owned gold projects, really realizing value from our investments, which we can put back into our exploration program, and optimizing and realizing value, unlocking value from our scandium project in New South Wales. Next slide, please. So our key focus is West Australian gold exploration. We obviously like Western Australia. It's a world-class gold province, very high discovery potential, streamlined permitting processes. We've got the 2 projects, Chala and Mount Naira, in the Yilgarn Craton, obviously well known for its all of its world-class projects. And we have the Xanadu project, which is kind of nestled between the Yilgarn and the Pilbara Cratons, probably less known by many investors, but it has a number of world-class deposits and is relatively unexplored compared to those other 2 basins. So it's a really interesting area. Next slide, please. We recently hired an exploration manager to run our programs in Western Australia. Rowan comes across from De Grey Mining. He's got nearly 15 years experience and has been extensively involved in the last 3.5, 4 years on the discovery of the multi-million ounce Hemi deposit. So he's got excellent credentials, and we look forward to Rowan not only contributing to our existing projects, but helping identify other M&A opportunities to help grow our portfolio. Next slide, please. So we've got 2 core projects. Xanadu, it's a large package of tenements, just over 500 square kilometres. We're 38 kilometres south of Paraburdoo, so we've got very good infrastructure, and that infrastructure will allow us to keep our exploration costs low. The primary focus of our exploration activities is in the northwestern end, where there has been quite a lot of historical drilling, and we're only 7 kilometres away from the Mount Olympus deposit. It's 1.65 million ounces in resources today. It's historically had 350,000 ounces produced, and it's a very exciting area, and we're bringing a modern and systematic exploration approach to advancing our Xanadu project. Next slide, please. So we really like Xanadu. As I mentioned, it's had a little bit of historical drilling in it before, but the focus of a lot of the exploration activities was on the development of some oxide resources for a small heap leach operation that was built. But some of that drilling that we have within our project has some very good economic grade and width intersections, and the project's never really been followed up with a systematic exploration program. It's a really attractive geological setting. It's on the Nangilgardi fault zone. It's got a 2 million ounce ore body nearby. There's plenty of gold in historical drilling. We've got favorable rocks there, so we really think that we've got the right location here for drilling. Next slide, please. So this slide just shows you some of the historical gold intersections, and we recently completed a significant geophysics program over this 10-kilometer section of that structure, and it's highlighted a number of deeper targets that we want to follow up with some drilling. So on the next slide. So our overall approach at Xanadu is one, we'll do some shallower drilling. The depth of oxidation here is around 80 meters, so we think there is the potential to build up some oxide resources here. But there's also the potential for much deeper mineralization within a very large zone of alteration here. So now that we've completed the geophysics, we're just working on getting our cultural heritage clearance so that we can immediately start drilling, and we'll be looking to do an initial program of around 4,000 meters to test this target. Next slide, please. A second wholly owned project is our Chala project. It's 2 exploration licenses covering nearly 300 square kilometres, nestled between Mount Magnet, Sandstone and UME, prolific gold producing region in Western Australia. Our tenements don't have a lot of historical exploration on them. They're covered in quite shallow outcrops, so there's not a lot of surface expression across the tenement package. So we've been relying on a fairly systematic program of soil sampling. We've done nearly 4,000 soil samples now, and combining that information with geophysics, and we're now at the point where once we get our cultural heritage clearance done here, we'll do a RAB air core program looking to sort of drill down to bedrock and target anomalies within that bedrock layer so that we can identify further targets for deeper drilling. Next slide, please. So one of the key attractions of the Chala project is that our western tenement is it's on greenstone, and it traverses the Chala fault zone, which we believe are the 2 key ingredients that we want in Western Australia for hosting million-ounce gold projects. And we also have our Chala East tenement, a little bit better explored. There's a little bit of outcrop. There's a lot of gold that's been identified in some of those outcrops, grades of up to 6 grams per tonne, but very little modern exploration or drilling. So looking forward to coming through and following that up with some drilling in the next few months. Next slide, please. We have our Mount Naira project. This tenement isn't granted yet, but it's a significant tenement package, 165 square kilometres. It's about 400 kilometres of north of Perth, about 300 kilometres north of the Julma deposit. Again, we're looking at a geological environment analogous to that Julma nickel PGE discovery. We believe that we have the right combination of rocks and structure here to host that type of mineralization. Once that tenement is granted, we'll expect to start doing soil programs and geophysics to unlock the value of that tenement. Next slide, please. Our final project that we're working on is our Scania Project in New South Wales. As I mentioned earlier, we've got a $16 million investment in this project. We completed a definitive feasibility study in 2018, which demonstrated the very attractive economics at low capital cost of developing this opportunity. Unfortunately, the scandium market is quite small today, so we've been looking at a number of ways to unlock value from that project, and we've got a permitting process underway, and also doing some master alloy production trials, so we can try and capture more of that value chain in the future. Next slide, please. And just to compare the value of that scandium project to some other listed companies globally that have scandium or nickel cobalt scandium projects, we have a 23 million market cap. We've got nearly $8 million worth of investments, and some of these companies are carrying significant market capitalizations, and we believe that very little value is being attributed to Platina or its scandium project in its market capitalization. Next slide, please. So just wrapping up, our share price catalysts going forward are completing our Chala and Xanadu drilling programs, getting our Mount Naira project granted, and moving that forward. We're actively looking at opportunities to acquire new projects in Western Australia, and unlocking the value of our non-core assets and realizing value from our investments, which we actually hope will do really well going forward. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Corey. Always good to hear from you. Can you talk about your portfolio, and I suppose how you balance the need for funding in some of these projects relative to how do you realise value from your portfolio at the same time?
Yeah, look, it's a good question. At the moment, we've got about $1.8 million worth of cash, so we're sort of well funded in the short term to achieve our objectives. We're very hopeful that Major in particular will have a good share price re-rating once they start to release a lot of their drill results and work towards getting a resource upgrade. So where we can, we'll obviously be looking to try and realize some cash so that we can put that back into the ground and try and create value through exploration success.
You currently have some kind of direct interests in gold and scandium and platinum and silver and zinc. Would you look to kind of JV some of those assets out, or look to divest some of the existing ones?
Look, at this point, our complete focus is on Western Australia, so that's that'll remain our primary strategy going forward. We're always looking at different ways of unlocking value from our scandium project, and and our investments obviously will be just realizing them over time.
And in terms of the exploration program in Mount Naira, when's that expected to be planned for?
Look, unfortunately, it's taken a very long time to get the tenement granted. We've had a number of administrative errors that have delayed the granting, and then we had to actually cut back the size of the tenement because it encroached onto some state forest. And so, we're expecting that the granting to be imminent, and as soon as we can get on the ground, as soon as it's granted and we can get on the ground, we will.
And just a couple of further questions. There's one here who's a little bit excited. Are you confident of finding a discovery like De Grey mining?
Well, obviously, everybody wants to be able to do that. We've really focused on trying to acquire projects on the right structures where there's the right rocks, so that you have the best opportunity of finding a world-class deposit. And I believe that all of our three projects in WA have that potential.
And just a question here on this Scandinavian project. Do you have an NPV?
Yes, the NPV back in 2018 was, I think it was 230 million Australian dollars.
Excellent, thank you. And anything you'd like to finish up here in terms of talking to your milestones and probably what excites you the most?
Yeah, look, drilling. I think there's been some great success stories recently in Western Australia. Companies drilling holes, making discoveries, and their share price is doing fantastically well. So that's absolutely my primary focus, is to get our cultural heritage clearance boxes ticked as quickly as possible at both Chala and Xanadu, and get the drill rig on the ground and start drilling.
Great, Corey. That's all we have time for. Always appreciate your time, and we'll follow up with you later in the year.
Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate it.